everybody.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hi, my name is Michael Yakovatsipo. I'm the Director of U.S. Relations for the Study Metro Agency. And we are here to broadcast a webinar about international recruitment for Indian students. Thanks for joining us from all over the world and all over the U.S. Specifically, being that we are in the Central Eastern Time Zone right now. I would like to start by quickly painting the picture of this webinar's objectives. First of all, we really have great folks on the line that will join us to give you some insights. So I will introduce you to Abhishek Bajaj and Abhi Bajaj, two founder and managing partners of Study Metro Agency. I myself live in the USA and I've been working with them for about 3 years. I used to work also in the education platform for universities in the US as head of international recruitment. So we're quite familiar with the market, with the strategies that you might have to work with every day. And Joyce joined Study Metro 3 years ago to help them to facilitate and organize a relationship with the American universities, Canadian universities, and I'm also European myself. So with my French background, I can also help with the European universities. That being said, it's going to be our second time hosting a fair in India, in our main markets where we have a strong office presence with Study Metro. Within this framework, so today we'll cover not only just what to expect in our upcoming fair, which will take place in September 16 to 24th in 6 different cities in India, but also wanted to bring some insights around 2 emerging topics right now in the Indian recruitment services arena. Number one, we see a lot of interest and demand coming from the universities to recruit students in undergraduate studies in India. We went to NAFSA a couple months ago with Abhi, and almost every single US or Canadian or European representative was telling us, how do we get access to the university students? How do we get access to the young students from India? And will you be able to help us to do that? So we know there is a market. We know there is definitely, I think, a strategy behind it for many, many schools to diversify the portfolio of students. And we are trying to see how we can help you to support the strategies. So second thing that we've noticed also is that India is not a new market. It is not mature yet, but it is also very well established in many different cities, especially in Delhi, in Chennai, in Hyderabad. Those big, very big cities have been exposed to international relationships for many, many years. However, India is a magnificent and quite extensive country. And as such, we are seeing that a lot of students in tier 2 cities are emerging and asking for the same opportunities to study abroad. So how do we respond to that? What are some of the insights to help you to go and access these students in different cities? Will be also part of our webinar today. So to get started, let's just introduce our company to many of you who are new to maybe Study Metro. So Abhi Bajaj will be joining us now from the Indore office in India to introduce Study Metro to you.
Okay, so thank you so much, Michael. Thank you so much all for joining us. So the whole story started when I was as an international applicant, has gone to the US to study back in 2009. And then we started our company back in 2011. And over the years, we started with a very small office in India based in Indore and Bangalore. But over the years, we got about 10 offices in different cities now. And we established in 2011. And today, proudly, we are certified by an ARC. And then we are an active member of NAFSA, ISEF. And we've been traveling over the different countries to do the different, the conference, to learn about and update ourselves with the, international education. So the emerging market which I would be talking about, that after the Trump administration, we have been seeing, and the university has been giving us a report of declining in the applications from the Indian market. And then the hidden market is lived in the tier 2 cities. So today we're going to talk about the tier 2 market in this in my next slide. Okay, so the tier 2 cities, the hidden market is in the tier 2 cities. One of the reasons you will find the great students from the tier 2 cities because there are students who are potential, serious. But Indian culture is all about when the students are not the wholesale authority to make a decision for their higher education, whether it concerns about an undergrad or grad, but the parents who plays the great role in making a decision of the son or the daughter. So one of the reasons that the tier 2 city have always been left out because the university's focus has always been to recruit students from one of the top metro cities of India. And what our learning has been from the past fair which we did, that in Indore, which is the mid part of India, one of the great city where the Indian students who love to go to the US, and US being the primary market, is about 1,315 students in the fair. And that makes us a kind of mind thinking of that the Gujarat market, we had about 700 to 1,000 students in the tier 2 cities in Anand and Vadodara. One of the reason because there are less number of agencies who are willing to go out and talk to their serious applicants, and these students who have been thinking of going to the US, but because of the less awareness, they end up going to other countries. And why we are focusing today about the US and Canada, because whatever they learn into the news, their parents are fearful, apprehensive about sending students. But tier 2 cities gives the great market for the to the US universities. Now the emerging market has been for the undergrad students. I'll talk to you about that in my next slide.
Yeah, and if it's possible, before we move so quickly to that next slide, Abby, can you kind of maybe give a couple of examples of some of the interest that you've seen from the students? What sort of majors are undergrad students looking for in India, for example?
So the Indian market has for bachelors and masters are both for the computer science, IT, and management. But I would say, because I work in the tier 2 city, which is Indore, that this time I've been able to send students to BS mathematics. And then that is what we have Andy Ray, I think he's joining today as well, that the student is applied for. And Andy has already been here. So maybe the university people who have come down to the tier 2 cities, we have one special thing about the undergrad students from the tier 2 cities would be that there are a great number of applicants who really want to go to astrophysics. They want to go to BS mathematics. They want to go to computer science or finance investment banking courses. So you see the diversity of international students from the tier 2 cities who are going to different US schools.
Okay. Well, what do you say are some of the main differences or concerns from undergrad students compared to graduate students, which is predominantly what India has been for?
So at the undergrad level, the parents are more concerned than the grad students. But nowadays in India, the one of the problem is that from the tier 2 cities, there are students who want to go to tier 1 city, and the education cost is on a very higher side, and it's very competitive. Just like if I talk about medical program, which is not famous in the US, but there are about 7 lakh students who write the medical entrance exam, but there are only about 48,000 seats available. Similarly, due to the lack of the colleges or the majors from the tier 2 cities, now there are parents who are more than willing to send their students abroad, maybe US. And I remember that the last time when I attended the ARC, I got to know that there are only about 3% of an applicant who's been going to the US for on an undergrad level. But that level has increased in the year 2017. And that's one reason that the parents and the students are getting more aware about the higher education in the US and Canada.
And I think I'll just add another perspective to that situation. You know, in India, of course, we know that there has been some concern with the visa issues in the past, and that's been dominantly with graduate studies. So something interesting to see now is that if you have an 18, 17-year-old student going to an undergrad study abroad, and they're going into the visa interview to get in the I-20 stamped and approval, it's very likely that those who have chosen to leave their families so young to study abroad for 4 years have a very strong commitment on education primarily, and is a lot less likely to be perceived as somebody who is trying to go to the US and never come back. So I think this is something important to know, because as we know, for those on following us today, who have seen a decline in Indian students in the past because of the visa rejection rate going up, this is less likely to happen with the undergrad students, because again, the parents are involved in that situation. They are still very young, and they have a long-term vision for their career at that point, just starting it up essentially. So that is supposed to also see a rise in the interest in the Indian market for undergrad, because it's a way to compensate for other issues that's been happening in Asia for visas. Anything else you want to add, Abby, on that note before we move to the next slide?
Yeah, we can go to the next slide. I think I'm done here with the tier 2 series, but we have another topic to talk about.
Yeah, and if anybody has questions about these things, keep them please right now. We'll be actually having Q&A toward the end of the seminar, so keep those, and you'll be able to go and put them into the chat box, and we'll be sure to answer those later on in the webinar.
Okay, so let's go to the undergraduate students. So primarily what we learned about from the university is like about 1 undergrad student is equal to 2 grad students. And that's true in terms of the Indian market is now emerging, as in more and more students in the different majors are planning to go to the US or Canada. And the one reason is like that the parents are getting more aware. And the one reason to make the parents more aware about this top schools, the IB or the CBSE schools, are getting them more aware about the international educations. And then the opportunity for the US and the Canadian schools is now to recruit students from these schools directly. And then the reality is that even the top schools in the US are really not having time to make a relationship with the US or Canadian or international universities. So the one thing is like which we recommend to the US and Canadian schools to now work with the university and recruit the schools and recruit students directly from the IB and CBSE schools. So in past we have had this in the fair, we have been able to take our representative to the universities, and out of 200 there were 30 or 40 who've been interested to learn about the international education, learn about the US culture, learn about the US universities. And there are students who are applying for the SAT and TOEFL, and the most concern to the undergrad students for the Indian market has been that the maximum scholarship they can get, they are more interested and enthusiastic about going, and even the parents. So when it comes to the undergrad student, it's not easy to recruit students, and one reason which we feel that we have seen a less number of undergrad students going to the US has always been because one of the reason is like it's not about recruiting a student but recruiting a parent as well. So they need to be make sure that they are going because they have a fear, they have concern, they have now with in the 2017 the biggest concern has been the Trump administration. What gonna have, are the people gonna be safe? So one thing which we recommend is like coming down and talking to the parents, do the interaction, probably going to the school, talking to the school principal, or maybe doing an interaction session with the parents there can help us to increase the market and getting more and more undergrad students.
How would you say the process starts for the undergrad students? How often, or maybe how much in advance, are they looking into their programs to study abroad?
So a student who's gonna be in their 11th, which is called as the intermediate school, which is for 2 years after 10 plus, 10 plus 1, 10 plus 2. So the best goal is to talk about those students, because SAT is due on October month, and they know that they are preparing for it, but they're gonna be maybe in next year. By January, they apply for the school for the next fall. That's the standard that everybody knows about. So, but there are students who really do not get a good opportunity, who are a dropout, and what they try to do is like they try to look for the schools abroad or in India, but they don't get the best opportunity, so they stay there. So maybe the best time to talk to them, recruit them, is about September, October, November, where you could get more and more students who are interested.
Right, and for those listening in, so the school year is quite different from it is in the US as well. So maybe you can talk a little bit about the cycle of this if you don't mind, Abby, quickly.
Which one you said?
The school year starts when and ends when, and when is the final exam?
Okay, so that starts every school nowadays, the private top schools, which follows the IB or CBSE, they follow the different school intake start. But majority of the school starts now. It's in the month of July or mid-June. The classes started, and then because every top schools which started now learning and letting the 11th class students who are gonna be going next fall, so they let them start or do the coaching or maybe going for the SAT classes right then, so that they can prepare and apply for the next year. But they know that there are about 10 plus 2 students who would be starting maybe next January or next fall. So they also give this opportunity to the students for the 11 plus 12 to apply for it.
Yeah, and I think that's also every year there's a big exam that people take, and that's normally at the end of March, if I recall. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so just to keep this in mind, if you are exposing yourself to students in the fall, you are sort of studying the relationship with the parents, studying the relationship with the students, getting to know who you are, searching your programs. Then they go and finish the senior year, so the 12th year in India. And when they are passing their exam, that's when I think it becomes a crucial point to touch base again with them and help them decide exactly what's the pathway they want to take. Are they going to stay in India in the top schools? Do they even qualify? As we know, it's a very competitive market to go there. And for many other ones aspiring to go into to the US and other places, they will then have already in mind a couple of university choices because you have been able to plant the seed all along the year about the program opportunities for them. So that's why it's so important for us to stress on the importance of going into the fall with already the focused mind of 2018 fall recruitment. And I think at that point, I think we can go into the next segue, which is our fair, give you a couple of different pointers to see how you can do this in partnership with Study Metro. So just to keep things in mind again, we are organizing a fair. It's called a multi-city fair between September 16th and September 24th. It's a 6-city tour. It starts in Chennai and will be ending in Goa. As you can see, we are embedding three big cities, Chennai, Bangalore, and Delhi, of course, are big metropolitan cities with the most student markets. But back to our conversation before about the tier 2 cities, we believe that the real market opportunity is in the smaller cities. So that's why we have Jaipur, Indore, and Goa plugged into this fair. We had a fair also in the spring, and we went to a couple of similar cities, but also went to Vadodara, Ahmedabad, and Mumbai. So we're trying to diversify for those who are returning to us again this fall. With in mind, so each city is going to be very comprehensive, almost a full day of a fair with a table, visiting students and parents coming to you and asking questions, having a chance to have maybe sit down with parents, privately as well, giving you a chance to give presentations formally to an audience. And in Turkey City, we'll also be organizing some school visits. So again, if you're stressing on undergraduate recruitment, you're going to want to be exposed to the high school, private, international institutions that we can take you to in Bangalore and Indore, where you can meet with the principal and you can meet with the potential students from that campus. If you are looking for graduate students, then in that case, we'll be actually organizing some site visits to colleges. Mostly of them will be in the business and the engineering side. And you'll be meeting with some students who will be juniors and seniors about to finish their completion of degree and going into MBAs, masters in science, technologies, and such. We have done this before, and actually I wanted to maybe show you a quick video of our previous fair. I think it's just easier to paint a picture about what it looks like to be going to a fair with Study Metro. One thing to keep in mind is that it's very intensive. You are here with us the whole time from the first city to the end. You're getting to know a lot of the people that we work with from different offices where we have an office as well. So you meet our staff. We're here to help you to navigate the system if it's your first time to India. But at the end, it's about your interaction with the students and getting some leads. So we'll be discussing a bit later how we can help you to actually continue to focus on following up with the students' leads that you're getting at that fair. So at that point, I'm going to jump quickly to the video. Hopefully this will work. Okay.
Hi, I'm Jan Jones from the University of Alabama. I'm the Director of Specialized Master's Programs at Culverhouse College of Commerce. I should let you know it's my first trip to India. I am partnered with Study Metro. It's the conference for 2017. It is a multi-city stop with multiple universities having the opportunity to come meet with universities like the University of Alabama for different graduate degrees, undergraduate degrees, PhD programs, things of that nature. We have visited 2 cities. We will visit several more. We've had a very good experience with the students. They're very engaging. They have good educational backgrounds. They know what their career aspirations are. So for Study Metro to have put this group together has been very beneficial, and it is a worthwhile, I would encourage everyone, if you are recruiting in India, to use Study Metro as your focal point, as your base point. If you are a United States university and you're considering recruiting international students in India, I would strongly encourage you to contact Study Metro as your focal point. They do a very good job of getting you to the major cities within the country. They do an excellent job of encouraging students to come. They take care of you while you're here. They provide all the transportation, all of the amenities so that you do not have to worry about that. And they give you quality students for your programs.
Hi, I'm Tyler King. I'm the director of Lewis University's Office of International Admissions. The Study Metro Fair has been a really successful experience for us at Lewis University. In the future, I think it would be fantastic to be involved because they put a lot of time and effort into advertising, into marketing the program. So it attracts a lot of very interested students that know what they're looking for and know what they want. So we get a lot of really great candidates that are interested in our university. So I think it would be a great opportunity for your university to attend because these fairs really attract qualified students. They're very well organized, and you can really, gain access to great potential students in the future.
So I'll stop there and we'll send you the video, of course, afterwards so you can see more testimonials from different universities we worked with in the past. One thing you could have seen actually is that in the background, we had a lot of our schools who were attending the fair, the sponsors. One thing to keep in mind is that we want to keep this privately targeted to about 20 to 25 maximum universities to really give you a good, intimate way of meeting the students and the parents. So we are not the huge NAFSA fair by any means, but what we try to do is to get to know the schools very well so we can train our counselors to support you. And when the students are arriving at each hotel for the fair, they are telling us what they are trying to pursue. And then we can guide them to the different booths to really help them. And that's why you keep hearing quality students, qualified students, because it's our job with all of our counselor support from all of these offices to vet out, to filter, to support the students first and foremost, and then to make the right recommendations to you, which at that point you can tell them more about your university program. One thing again, so this is a multi-city fair. It's also, of course, focused on all programs, not just STEM, not just undergraduate studies. So the nice metrics, I think, tends to be about 30% undergraduate program, 70% master's program. And we see the similar reflection of students coming to visit you as well in that room. So it is really meant to attract universities from the US, from Canada. We do also have sometimes schools coming from Europe, from the UK, from France, Germany to participate, as we're seeing a rise happening in Europe too, and as well as Asian universities joining. So we really want to be able to offer many different options to the students. For you coming there, it's a commitment to the whole tour. or you can also select different cities, particularly if you want to just be focusing on one market, Central India or North India, or maybe you want to focus more on undergrad versus grad school. So there are some cities where I think it's more prone to be better for that. So tell us what your needs are. We can work with you on what's the best package for you for this tour. And on average, you're going to see about 500 students per fair. Again, it varies based on the market. We were really surprised, and I'm very happy to see that Indore was a very successful place last time. We had 1,000 students show up. In addition to this, we had the campus tour and the school. So again, the tier 2 cities really tend to be very powerful this time of the year. If you're participating in Study Metro, what can you expect? What is really the main purpose? Well, of course, it's about recruitment. First and foremost, but keeping in mind that students are also coming there for different options, like maybe short-term programs, maybe exchange programs. So it could be also a graduate degree or certificate. So it's an array of different options, and we really want to bring as many possible options for the students from all our university partners. But also, if you're new to India, maybe if you're new to a city that we are going to, this is your chance to increase your branding. As you can see before, we print. We publish advertisement in newspapers with logos. We have big banners. Great media attention is happening during the tours as well. So not only it's getting you exposed directly with the families and students, but it's also giving you the school branding, which will facilitate your leads generation and follow-up and conversion rates. Schools are also going now to India because they want to develop a relationship with the school's principals into maybe a pathway program, 2+2, maybe directly out of high school as well. So we give you a chance to meet the principals and the deans of different colleges and universities as well, so that you can develop a relationship and do follow-up phone calls and meetings later on during the same trip or maybe afterward. So this is a quick table to show you a little bit of the itinerary. So we'll be starting again in Chennai. Most schools will be coming on the 15th, arriving there with a dinner, welcoming remarks, reception, setting expectations for the whole tour. And then Chennai on September 16th, a full day from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. will be set up with our fair, tours, classes, welcoming the students. We'll help you to get set up. And then the same sort of process happens in every city. So we move really quickly. From Chennai, we're going to Bangalore, do the same thing again, which means from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. it's the fair. People are coming in, they're meeting with you, presentations are going on at the same time. We also invite some other speakers from the US embassies and such, so we can attract even more students to really learn more about the process and be better ready to apply for colleges abroad. In Bangalore, there is a special day just focused on the school visits the next day. So that gives you also a buffer and a break to relax a little bit if you don't do those. Or maybe you have some other meetings you want to take place, with other agencies, or maybe different schools you already have a relationship with. And then we keep on moving to the next step, Jaipur, Delhi, Indore, and Goa at the end. So again, you can choose to do the whole package. And right now, if you're choosing to do that, you're only paying for 4 cities cost for the whole tour for 6 cities. Or you can choose to pay individual places, individual cities where you want to help to market your school. These are again some pictures from last year's fair. So you can see it's a lot of representation of different students from different places, very interactive, very dense conversation, quite interactive, and very qualified students who are looking to ask a lot of questions and get some information from you directly there. We actually create also a mobile app to facilitate, the branding of every program that you can offer. You can also scan them when they come to your table, and you can know exactly who is coming to you, and you can have a lead generation tool to do follow-ups directly with the students. Of course, we are your agents, we are your partners, so it's our job to do all the follow-ups after you leave back to the US or Canada, wherever you're from. But we believe in partnership is very crucial from both worlds, so we believe that coming to us is going to make you a preferred status partner. In fact, for every school coming to that fair, we're going to be assigning a counselor in every city that we have an office to you specifically. And that means that you are getting a really quick connection and direct link to our staff by Skype. You're setting up monthly phone calls with them. And the goal is to really help to facilitate understanding of your programs and your admissions process, and have a really quick way of accessing you, our counselors, and counselors to you for back and forth questions to admit the students that want to go to your school. So again, we go into great hotels, 5-star hotels. We provide lunches. We have the room set up for meetings, for presentations. We provide, of course, guidance when you come into India. If you opt in for the full travel package, we can also arrange for your accommodations, for your hotels, for your transportations, and your airport pickup as well. So depending on how flexible you are and your budgets and how comfortable you are in the market by yourself, we're here to help you and support your needs. I think what's really important to focus here in terms of how do we market this to the students, right? We've learned that in the past, the most effective way is now social media. If you visit our website, social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, you'll find that we have over 57,000 students on Facebook. Twitter has a huge following as well. So we know that this is our main tool of reaching the audience. In addition to this, of course, too, we are developing and launching advertisements, press releases, inviting the media to speak, to do some coverage in TVs, print in newspapers, Times of India, the Hindu, the regional papers. We have examples of this we can show you, but really at the end of the day, it's about how do we market the fair as a top place for learning about education abroad. And when they arrive, pre-screening the students, sending them to you to talk to you, you doing your best effort to connect with the students on their level, and then us following up to get you some convergence applications. Many of you probably have gone to India before, maybe you've gone to different tours. What again is very specific and special in this one is that first of all, it's a partnership with an agency who's organizing that. So we have a stake in that to make sure it's a successful event for you and for the students. Second, we do follow up on all the leads. Third, we keep it small, up to 20-25 schools maximum with different countries representation. And again, we're going into the cities where others really haven't gone there yet. And that is, again, a huge advantage if you believe in the long-term investment in India. So if you have any questions, I guess right now we can sort of leave it up for questions and Q&A from the chat box. Abhishek, if you're there, can you help us to do that, please?
Yeah, sure. The first questions which we have, what is the difference between this tour and other tours?
Well, I think I'm just going to cover that a little bit more. I think that you can see, I think that first of all, we are not just a tour agency, right? So you can find many event management companies who are very specialized in tours, education fairs. They organize it, you go there, you do all the work, and then you go back, and then suddenly nothing happens because nobody really has an intake and stakeholders to really follow up. So in this case, for us, when you go in the cities that we have, you're going to meet the people that work for Study Metro in these places as well. So you're combining counseling, training, you're reinforcing relationships, and again, we're going to work all the leads for you afterward too. And again, I think it's a smaller tour. It's much more, I think, targeted to you. And we have a big stake, I think, in making this very successful because we have a partnership agreement following up the lead.
Shall I go ahead and say something here?
Yeah, please.
So the difference gonna be this time is gonna be that last time we had about the schedule from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. That was like pretty much hectic for everybody to work on because they have to work on their emails at the night and then they report back and then they go for the next day. So this time the timing for the fair is gonna be very flexible. Another thing which comes across is like that everybody we are getting, because we never deal with the number, although we love that the tier 2 cities has given us a good number of students, but I understand that it does not matter whether you have 100 or 1300, but at least the number of students who actually enroll in the school. So what we try to do is like with this first fair which we did in April, we had about 100+ applications for those schools who applied, who have come to the fair. So the second thing which I've got in my mind is like that at least we do not deal with the numbers. If we're gonna give you 5 students or 5 gonna be potential students for the school, they are not there just to get there and then they transfer out, or they're not retained there, but we just do recruit students. So the fair gonna be flexible with less number of hours and more of our counselors who are gonna work on them. So you are only meeting with the one who are actually potential for your school rather than another school.
Abhishek, I don't know if you have anything else to add on, if you want to take on the next question.
So I just want to add here is that the last time what we done as a strategy is that we understand it's a teamwork. It's not only work for the university, only work for the agency. The past, because I was IT guy, so when I joined this company, when I thought, okay, what are the things which we can brought, I seen that if we can work as a team, so that we can create or we can recruit more international students for any school, so it's a win-win position for both the party. So what we done last time is that we mapped the counselors, so whatever the university participates in our fair, altogether we have provided a 45 counselors to all our counselors to the foreign universities. So each city we map the one counselors to the foreign universities. Altogether they get 5 to 6 counselors from different location. Also each counselors having their own responsibility and goals, so that they can report directly to the universities, and they'll submit monthly report or bi-weekly reports to tell them what is the follow-up is going on after the fair. Because the follow-up is a key point, because you meet with the students, you meet with so many other delegates, and you forget after some times because of your busy schedule. But if somebody is locally available here who can report you that what exactly is going on, and the same times we invite students to come down to the office, and we connect the foreign university through virtually using our webinar platform like what we are doing right now, or using the Skype and other medium, so that the students also feel very comfortable before leaving or before choosing any universities. They are seeing the real people who are going to support them after reaching there. It helped them a lot to choose the university, because generally the tendency of the Indian students, they apply to 5 to 6 different universities, and in the end they just research about the ranking in the internet. And if their colleagues or their parents say, okay, choose that universities, they choose that university. But sometimes if they see somebody virtually who is talking to them, who is showing them what are the opportunities available if you're choosing to my schools, they feel trust on the university. At the same time they trust agent also where they're applying.
Great, thank you. Did anybody have another question, maybe about the tour, about the?
Yeah, I have another question comes from Alicia, that is there any market for the UK based online qualifications?
So the question is there any interest in going to the UK?
Yep.
Do you want to talk about that one, Abhishek, since you work much closer with the students?
Yeah, so Indian market is very diverse. Like today only we had one student. She want to go only London because her husband got job in the London. So the market is diverse, because the if you see the India is the second largest market in the world. So after the China, the India is creating the more students mobility in the world. And by 2020, according to the report, it's going to be number one. So it's a huge market, and we have the diverse students looking for the diverse countries. Nevertheless, the US is always leading the international students, but other countries like UK is the second largest country where the Indian students go.
Yeah, and I think it's because, of course, the language barriers are definitely just much more easy to cross, and of course the UK reputation is very strong in terms of being top in the world. I do know that there has been a decline in the UK just because of the new Brexit restrictions with the visa and the working permits and such. That being said, I think that people are looking for other options, but not necessarily wanting to compromise their first option to the UK. So I think it's more of a matter of aligning the programs and the motivations with the right schools. If a student is looking to go work abroad after they finish studying, then I do know that, of course, the UK will not be the best option anymore. But if the student is young and the primary focus is, getting a bachelor's degree or getting, one of the best masters, just for the fact that it's a good school, that will be the primary purpose, and that will be a good fit. So that's maybe a way to answer your question. I don't think that we should start focusing directly on new markets just because of Brexit. It's always going to be, I think, a tough place, and because of its history as well with India. but we do have to face the reality that there are some other barriers to cross with them.
Okay.
Next question.
I have another question from Luca regarding, do you have experience with online programs, or you only focus the campus-based study abroad?
I think we get this question, I think, every single time we have a webinar. I think that we do know that the online education is still thriving in the world. It's very competitive. And people are saying, well, what if the Indians could study there? It would be much cheaper, right? No travel, no visa restrictions. But I think that the fact is that people who want to study abroad want to experience study abroad and get a degree from abroad. It's a combination of motivation, right? It's the work, it's the education, it's the campus life, it's the connections you're making. So number one priority for Indians is still going to be studying abroad physically. That being said, what we're seeing is maybe an interest level from the professional, older Indian who are looking to maybe enhance their career aspirations. You know, they might be working full-time for an IT company, and having an MBA from a top American school does make a difference on their resume and their salary negotiation. So I think that the market is there, but I wouldn't say it's our biggest market, because that's just not where most people are going to go and lean toward at this point. But we're also seeing very creative way of working with the Indian universities. So if you're looking to maybe embed online courses with your MBA and maybe a program abroad in a top college in India, we have seen examples where there is a 1+1 master's program, and where 1 year can be done in India. And while they are in India, they are preparing a couple of courses online to meet the requirements of the credits and the US standards. And then they are going into the US to finish up the degree, and then they are earning 2 different masters from the same program. So there are ways around, and I think it's just a matter of communicating to us separately and seeing how we can work with you.
Yeah, and I just want to add it here is that what we done the last time also, that couple of the universities who want to promote their online program, what we done is that we had the night summit, and in the night summit we invited a couple of the Indian universities, deans and principals from the schools and the colleges and the universities here, and then we proposed them to become a study center of foreign universities. Today also we had one seminar in Bangalore College, and they propose us that they have only 3 years bachelor degrees and they don't offer any master programs. So we propose them to, if you have the library, why you not creating the study center where we can connect with you with the foreign universities, and if your students does not want to go abroad, or if they get a jobs in India but still they want to study the top from top schools or top programs, they can come physically to your college, but still all the contents and all the professors are virtually coming and giving the lectures. It helps India because when the e-learning company came in India and by 2008 or 7, they didn't find anything from Indian market, but gradually they seen in 2011 to 2012 that Indian market was leading in the e-learning company. The reason is that the Indian people, they don't actually tried new thing. You have to train them, you have to show them the way that they preferred, but at the same time you have to attach them with the latest technology.
Yeah, makes sense. I think we have about time for about 2 or 3 more questions maximum. We'll keep them concise to respect your time.
Okay, so I'm just taking quickly the important questions from here. What are the current turnaround time for the F1 visa, and what is the denial rate?
Okay.
Abby can answer.
I would
Abby is
talk about
the
I would talk about it because I've seen a recent change. So we all were fearful about the Trump administration, especially for the US, because 2016 not likely to be called as a black year, but it was like more denial for the students with 310, 320 who got the visa denial. So we thought it could be just because of the new administration going to be taking place. But this year has been wonderful, and we are so happy that we have placed students to a couple of undergrad, grad, and even on the PhD levels. and then most of them, almost 90% of them, I don't know about others, but 90% of them have a visa approved. And I feel so happy about recruiting students for the US schools, because that's one thing which we have been more concerned about, that if no visa, then it's going to be more decline. And then we've been seeing the report from the 2016 that there were less number of students who are interested in going to the US, and so that is an opportunity for the other countries. But this year, for the fall intake so far, we had about 90% of our students who got the visas, and the ones who did not make it, it's just because of what their problem with the finance could be, or maybe they were failed to talk about the ties that they have to the home countries. So I feel like visa rate has been improved. So I'm not sure why, because I was personally was fearful to the situation around there, but there are students who are happy, and it has again picked up as the US market initially.
Perfect. Thank you, Abby. Abhishek, any other questions?
I think it's the last question is only if you can just tell them about the pricing and all, because it helped them a lot that to make the plan and schedule.
Yeah, of course. So we'll collect your email. I know we have it on the chat box here, so we can follow up with you directly. Again, we're flexible. It depends if you want to do a select cities. It depends if you want to do the travel accommodations as well. If you want to do presentations. I mean, it's basically very customized to what's going to work best for your needs. So you can talk to me directly. You have my information on the screen as well right now. If you want to send me a quick email right now, and I'll follow up with you this afternoon, and we can see what works. As you know, we have also a deadline. July 31st is the first big deadline for your early discount rate. After this, there's another time frame for last minute registrations. So keep that in mind as you look into your budgets and your travel planning. Also, if you're already planning to go to India anyway in the fall, please let us know. Stop our offices anytime for training purposes to meet our staff, and hopefully this can work along the same way as the dates of the fair, so you can combine your regular travel planning with marketing and big push of the fair too. With that being said, again, thanks everyone for joining us. We hope this was useful to you, getting you some new thoughts in your head about going to India, the next steps, the challenges, the concerns, but also, of course, how you can rely on us at Study Metro to help you to successfully recruit some students from India. Abhishek was on the phone with us. He's based in Bangalore. Abhin is based in Indore. I'm based in the US. So among the three of us, we're here to assist you and answer any questions anytime. So we look forward to it. Thanks again, everybody. And we hope to see you soon in India in the fall.
Thank you very much, all. Bye-bye. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much.